No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Gimmicks like giant checks and mascots to promote this year's football contest because we're giving away even more money than we did last year.
$16 million in guaranteed prizes to be exact. There's 2 ways to win and no rake.
Players in Circa Millions make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries select 1 team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all. Visit circasports.com for details.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. All from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? Happy Wednesday, Boise State fans. Welcome on in. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. Excited for this, the debut of a new show, a new co-host. He never thought he would see the day. He is now officially on the payroll. He is officially a media member. Brad Bedell joins us. Brad, this is going to be a lot of fun, man. We've been getting a lot of positive reviews from your appearances on the post-game shows, on the Riley and Ridge show the other night, and now we've agreed to terms, and we're going to be doing this every Wednesday at 9 a.m., talking football and having some fun here, man. How's it going?
It's awesome. Good morning, and I appreciate the opportunity. And when I started this, and heck, you asked me when I first moved back here, you want to do this? And I'm like, no, I don't. And I did. I started actually last season, had a lot of fun, and I think it's exciting, obviously, where your company, where you're going, and I love talking football, and and obviously moving back to Boise is important for me and my family, and Boise State is a special place in my heart for what we did here and really what's meant to my family. So, no, I think it's exciting. I appreciate the opportunity, and let's kick it off.
I think we should kick it off with the first comment in the history of you officially on the payroll. Jacob saying, "Look at that sexy man on the right."
That's true.
So
that's a good point. I mean, obviously, I can. Hey,
that's
I
why
had
we
to
need
get
to
up
bring
and
you.
yeah, I gotta pay him later, but I had to wake up at 6 to get this mug going. So shit.
Nate wants to know where the Coors is. You cracking one open at 9 a.m.?
No. It's a Wednesday at 9 a.m. You know, some people have standards. Mine's 9:30, so we may have to push this back a little bit.
I don't know if it's good or I don't know if it's good or bad, but like the first 3 comments were like, "Oh, is he going to be as good in the morning without a little bit of liquid courage?" I'm like, "Oh no, Brad will still have plenty of stories. We'll have plenty of fun."
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
No, it's going to be.
I don't understand what they're talking about, BJ. There is no alcoholic beverages.
Oh, it's all water. It's all water. It's all water.
Allegedly, it's allegedly happens.
Yes. No, it has been like I tell people this, Brad, but like you mix in the fun. I just think you're a great kind of person for this because you mix in the funny stories and you have some fun, but like when you get down to talking X's and O's in football, it seems like that's what you really enjoy doing, and you can explain it and you know what you're talking about. So I think it's going to be a fun mix here every Wednesday, 9 a.m., 30, 45 minutes, just talking football, talking BSU. We'll talk some general college football as well. And then also, Brad, we also are going to make it official that you will be joining Coach Ridd on the post-game shows for the home games at the James again. And that's where it sometimes gets a little crazy on the post-game shows, but we're looking forward to another season of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of fun, and it's always now. I mean, I'm finally on the bandwagon of an earlier kickoff.
Yes. The 7:45 kickoffs aren't always fun on Sunday morning when we've done the show till 2 a.m. But we'll it's going to be fun. We're looking forward to it. And again, Nate says Brad's a dude I would want to have a beer with. Well, come on up to the James sometimes, Nate, and come to one of our post-game show. I know Nate lives in Austin, Texas. That's a little tough for him, but next time you're in Boise, Nate, we'll meet you at the James.
Absolutely. I'd love to. If you fly into Boise, I'll buy you the first one.
There you go.
Just for him. Everybody else, bring your wallet.
Brad still has the Twitter receipts for most of you from a couple years ago. So
no, I'm sure nobody said one bad thing about me.
It's funny though. Like everyone like I was talking to Garrett Curran last night, and it's just the same thing. Like whether it's players, coaches, fans, like it was easy for the O-line and the O-line coach to take the shrapnel, and it was probably easy for the O-line coach and the O-line players to not like the media or whatever else and the criticism. And I think there can be a nice common ground that I think we found with Brad Bedell here on BNN.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's that position, right? It's like the quarterback position, which is going through a battle right now, right? The quarterback gets way too much blame. He gets way too much credit. Okay, an O-line gets a lot of blame, and it gets some credit. Now the coach, that's your job. I mean, those are your guys. You take the bullets. It's your job. You're the one getting paid. So does everybody know what's going on? Absolutely not. But that's the way it is. And when you took that job and as an O-line coach, you have to be prepared really to take some heat. And with all due respect out there, I didn't really give a shit what you said because I was going to coach them. I believed in my heart where we were going, which is 4 conference title games, 2 championships, bowl wins, top 25 teams, 1,000-yard rushers, everybody getting a job, second-round draft pick. So, and I've been to a lot of weddings. Garrett Curran was on last night, graduating, doing extremely well with ESI.
Got a family?
Has a family now. And so really, you really don't know how good of a job you did as a coach in molding people as you do 5 years after they're gone. Now, did we give up some sacks here and there we shouldn't? Absolutely. Did we give up too many tackles for loss versus Troy with 4 new starters? Absolutely. But we ran power up their ass to win the game too in the red zone. So, it's the way it is. And I enjoyed that part of it. And I also got, behind the closed doors, I go, hey guys, it's just us. Put your back against the wall. Okay, it's us. We're a family. Garrett Curran talked about it last night. That has to be a tight unit as a family. And as the leader of that family, just like a leader in your family and personally at home, you're going to take some bullets. All right, I'm fine. Just put on a Kevlar vest and move on.
You like bringing up that Troy game. You kind of jokingly joke about it. Was that like the one game in your Boise State career that was like the worst game for you? Or
no, that was a hard one. Because I knew coming into it, that was Ezra Cleveland's first start.
Yeah, it's
John
funny.
Molson.
You look back at the guys you had and what they ended up being, and it was like, how
Right.
could that? It's crazy.
Yeah, Andreas. Andreas was an older guy, but we lost Archie. Oh, that was Archie, and I had Mason. And then Ezra started at left tackle that game. Molson moved from right tackle to guard because he started the year before, but it's not. I mean, Madison broke one for a long run. We talked about off camera that we were kind of skewed. There's a skewed statistic right there because Alexander busted off, I think, a 60-yard run on power. But we gave up some tackles for loss that game, and that game was closer than it should have been. And so it was a learning experience for those kids. It's also the first game that I was going through with them. Like when you get to the sideline, do I have a bunch of panickers? I mean, are we like, oh shit, coach? No, calm down. We're going to get through it. In other terms, it's the first game with me. And anybody who's been to a practice, I mean, I've always had a lot of high energy and things like that, and I am hard on them at practice. But when I get to a game, you don't need to bring anxiety to the situation, right? I mean, a young man's going to a game as a first start, or an O-line in general is going into a game. They're high anxiety. It's intense. It's ready to go. And all of a sudden I come in and just start MFing them. That's building to a problem. Right now, sometimes you got to put on your Dr. Phil hat and go, hey, guys, we're going to be fine. We're going to make some adjustments right now. Okay, hey, we're going to now combo to this guy. That's going to open up the puller to the safety, things like that. Mm-hmm. And that first game is always a learning experience for every place I've ever been. And, that was a Troy team. That was a good football team. And they had an experience up front. I think they're almost all seniors. So that's a game that I always look back on. And I could probably tell you almost every first game I coached, unless we were at Auburn and we beat them by 60, but that's a close game. And now you know what you got. Because now we hit adversity week one. Yeah. So it's just something that I always remember. And as a coach, you remember a lot of stuff. And, and usually sometimes the losses really keep you up at night, but the wins and win uglies I'm glad we won, but God, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I'm looking at the box score right now from that game. Maybe I shouldn't bring. I mean, you won the game though. Let's not forget that you won the game. You also had a pretty special season that year, going to the winning the championship and beating Oregon in the bowl game. Right, that was 17. Alexander Madison had a 49-yard run. You take that away, you guys had 43 carries for 98 yards.
90 yards. Yeah, that's not the that's not the standard here.
2 yards per carry doesn't get it done.
No, it's not. You can't even get in third and medium or less. I mean, we're spending the game. I bet you are.
Who the leading rusher was in that game? Who had the most carries in that game for you guys?
The quarterback?
No, Ryan Wolpen. Ryan Wolpen, according to this, had 17 carries in that game for 47 yards. Alexander Madison, 13 carries for 82. Montel Cozart actually had 8 carries in that game as well. That was the game where he actually came in and late in the game and almost basically helped. I'll say win the game. Montel Cozart.
We ran some because Cozart was our quarterback power guy.
Yeah,
we weren't gonna. I think the first time we ran rip on a quarterback power versus Wyoming later in the year, and to Rip's credit, he goes, Coach. Because we were going to run the play, Rip goes, let me run it. And I remember Coach Harsin going, are you kidding? He's like, they're never going to believe that I'm going to run quarterback power. And he ran it, and I think we got 9-10 yards for a first down. That really helped us win the game going into the red zone. Or I think it went onto the 4 or the 5. Yeah. Right? And then we scored, and then we won that game. But those are the games, like that Troy game. And, I mean, there's some battles. Right? There's some battle. I mean, when you play Wyoming, that's a battle. Those are two teams that are just going to try to bloody each other up. Hence, Boise State's got them late November this year.
Seems like every year they go to Wyoming. It's the last road game of the season or whatever. It's pretty crazy.
No doubt. And then it one game we go up there, there's fires, there's ash coming down. We play a game.
Yep, I remember
the other time we play them, it's actually a pretty decent evening. And then you come out halftime and it snowed 6 inches. And snow is the great athletic equalizer. That's why it's always hard to play Wyoming late in the year because Boise's just so much more athletic than them. That is the great equalizer is putting snow on the ground.
I want to talk mostly about this year's team and stuff, but I'm looking at that 2017 season, man. That was a crazy season that you guys go losing triple overtime to Washington State in the next game. You come back. I remember on that Thursday New Mexico game, quick turnaround. Rippon had the concussion, so Cozart had to start that game. Then you have the following week against a Virginia team that you'd already beaten on the road. They come in and just stomp you guys. And then you go on that really long winning streak, and then I think some people kind of forget you lose at Fresno State at the end of the season, yet you still got to host the conference championship game due to kind of some weird computer things or whatever the way it was. So you get to host the championship. Right. You hang on. I think Leighton Vander Esch had a big pick in the championship. You win that, and then obviously you go on and beat Justin Herbert in the Vegas Bowl. That was quite the season there in 2017.
Yeah, it was a fun season, and those kids, they rallied. We got better and better and better. Virginia, we sucked, to be quite honest with you. And then that Fresno game, that was a weird thing because I remember specifically is Wyoming played the game. Whoever we were competing to go against, whatever happened, they played before us. And if Wyoming lost or something happened, we're automatically in. And they played before us.
Well, I think you're automatically in. You just didn't know who you were playing or something. Or you didn't know where the game was in Fresno.
The game was. Maybe that was it, right? And then once that game happened, we were guaranteed to get the thing, no matter if win or loss versus Fresno.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit. The kids know, right? They have cell phones. I mean, you can't stop that stuff unless you take cell phones away, which these days it's like prying something out of somebody's
dumb media question where we'd go, oh, do you change the game plan because you got to play them next week? And we'd get laughed at and say, no, you try to win the game. You worry about next week. But
No, you beat Fresno. That's a rival. You don't want to lose your rival, period. And I don't give a shit. You play the game to win. I don't care if it's chess, handball, or cricket, or a beer drinking contest. You play to win.
I like it. That's why we like having Brad Bedell on here. Brad Bedell, again, every Wednesday, 9 a.m. is going to be a special guest with us here on Bronco Nation News. We got to come up with a catchy name. Wednesdays with Brad. This just seems too plain. We'll come up with something in the trenches or something with Brad. We'll come up with something. Yeah.
I'll get on that.
Yeah. That's part of your fee, though. I'm not adding it if you come up with a catchy title. We're not
totally fair. Totally fair. There's no incentive bonuses in the contract.
Keep the comments coming. Keep the questions coming. A lot of great ones. I do want to get Brad's take on this year's team, and I think Brad, you're going to especially I think be beneficial to our viewers here once we get into the season to have games to talk about, and whether it be past games. And Wednesday is kind of a nice day. We can kind of do a little bit of recap of previous games, but also look ahead to the next week's games. And I know you're looking forward to diving into some of the X's and O's and looking at the opponents, and actually just getting a chance to talk football and watch football. And maybe we can even get a couple clips so we can do some film study type stuff maybe as we go along too, and show some great runs from Ashton and show the O-line blocking and things like that. Yeah. I think we're trying to they want to call it morning beers with Brad. I don't know if we can pull that part off, but
I can't pull that one off. You guys are going to be sorely disappointed.
Oh man. But no, I think we're going to try to, have some fun, keep it light, tell some stories, but also give folks some football knowledge and let them learn a little bit about the game of football as we move forward.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I look forward to it.
All right. So let's see. Raising Hell with Brad Bedell.
That's a good one. That guy's the way you should be paid. Come on, BJ, cheap ass.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, we're gonna we'll see what we can do here. Keep the comments coming in. Keep the title suggestions. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. All right. Yesterday, Brad, they had the Inferno practice, and I told you on Monday when we agreed to terms on this, I said, hey man, it probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for you to, if you want to go out and see a practice, they'll give us something to talk about as we move forward here. And you said, yeah, sounds good. And then I said, well, Tuesday's the Inferno practice. He said, oh, hell no.
Sorry. I've been through that one.
Which is funny, by the way, because yesterday may have been the best day we've had in a month. And it was a perfectly blue sky, beautiful day outside, upper 70s when they would have been on the field. The smoke had finally moved away. Right. It was the best day of fall camp, and there they are in the Inferno.
No. F you go to the end zone or go to the go inside. We're about to roast.
Well, before we get into the Inferno, here's a short clip. Last night, your man Garrett Curran was a guest with Kent Riddle, Riley Smith, Riley and Rid. You can go watch the full episode at Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. But here's Garrett Curran and the guys talking about Inferno practices.
I would even go on to say that it is worse than like what natural hot and muggy feels like
because you're trapped in there too.
You're trapped in there. There's the air's not flowing. The air that is flowing,
no
is coming
breeze,
dark right out of a heater,
It's
right?
miserable.
And it's even worse for the O linemen. Shout out the O line, because we are in a corner of the end zone for our individual periods, and there's a massive heater directly above us. So you're just dying. I remember my first Inferno practice. I got to a point mentally where, like, it really starts to wig you out. Like, am I going to be okay right now, or am I going to die? And I just remember the only thing that I thought would work, I grabbed, gotta love the athletic trainers. They always got the damn Powerade baskets with our bottles full of ice and water. And I grabbed one of those and unscrewed the lid, and I poured it directly down my pants and directly down my shoulder pads. So cooled down the chest and the groin. And I went, okay.
Got to do what you got to do, Brad. We do want to clarify. I guess later in the show, he clarified. Folks were saying that he poured, red Powerade down his pants. No, it was water in the. They used the Powerade bottles. It was water. But you got to go to extreme measures. It was 97 degrees. They said with 60-something% humidity in there yesterday, which actually was worse conditions than it was at that time in Statesboro, Georgia, where that first game will be. And as Rid was pointing out too, like, in a game, the O-line, and the players at least get a break. Half the time you're not on the field. In a practice, they try to mix in some TV timeouts and small breaks, but like you're actually going pretty much for 2 hours straight or whatever it is at a practice. So theoretically, the Inferno practice ends up being tougher and harder than what they'll face in the game.
I completely agree. First of all, you can see Garrett's a little bitter about it because his face he's just angry. I mean, he's an angry human being about that practice apparently, but I think that what you can do in that Boise State indoor with that climate control helps so much because if you don't have that and you get to Statesboro or we got to Florida State or the year before or 2 years, whatever, Louisiana Lafayette, right? And it's not a punch in the face. And when you step in that indoor and when they jog into that indoor, somebody has a hose and they're hosing the players down. And just trying to get them as wet, as uncomfortable, and really like as pissed off as you can get them. And then you work them. Individuals hard. The heater is directly on that O-line. And as a coach, it helps you. Like you're screaming, you're lightheaded, you're going, and you're like, I'm about to go down too. And I don't want my fat ass to go down in front of the offensive line. Now I look like the weakest one of the group. Right. So it's a game of mental toughness. And that is something that can really help. And especially as a coach, as games wore on, players, they're hydrating and all that. I didn't drink a lot during games, right? I actually kind of dehydrated myself because you can't exactly, hey guys, let's take this series off. I got to go take a piss. I'll be right back. You can't drink a lot of water during a game.
The players have better chances than the coaches, right? If they have a problem on the sideline.
No doubt. Are you kidding me? And then if you overhydrate, okay, shout out to the male viewers here. The male anatomy does things if you have to take a piss really bad. The last thing I need is the camera to be pointing at me, and I've got plays, and they're like, there's the offensive line coach at Boise State. He has got a problem, and he must have to use the bathroom. Could you imagine? On ESPN? No, I'm out. So, but it teaches the players too. They got to hydrate. Not only that you also a real thing. If you remember that Florida State game, they remember the sacks, right? Let's just move on from that. But Florida State cramped up worse than Boise State did. Those players were just dropping off like flies, where we stood our ground. The other thing that's important, here's a little fun tip. I had Garrett Larson at center. Well, your center, you got to know if he's a sweater. Like they're all linemen. They're all going to sweat. It's disgusting. But you got to know how bad it is because the more sweat he has, the wetter his pants are going to get. And that means you got to change his pants at halftime because you can't have the quarterback's hands all wet or you're never going to be able to throw the ball. You're going to have fumble exchanges and things like that. So I'll never forget. I walked into the locker room at halftime, and Garrett Larson is sitting on the stool. He's dead tired. I said, here, change your pants. He goes, Coach. I go, hey, if you don't change your pants right now, we're going to have a problem. We talked about this. This is what's going to happen. But That's so important right there. And then the other thing is it helps the training staff to know, okay, who your crampers at, right? If you're cramping in the middle of an Inferno practice, you got to know to get are the IVs, who's going to get a list. Like, these are possible crampers at halftime. We may need an IV at halftime for some of these young men. And so those practices help in regards of, one, not getting punched in the face, because now you could say, stop bitching. We went through this. And then during the Inferno practice, you can ask all those guys, I don't care if you get tired. I don't give a shit if you're tired. We're playing ball. Okay, we've all been tired. And so that just helps. It's just a simple mental edge that you can carry getting out of your comfort zone in our climate, going to a southern climate. The other thing is they could have helped the time of the game. I mean, you're going to kick off that Georgia Southern game at the hottest time of the year around the South is in 4 to 6. Okay, so it's going to be hot. So that just helps them get in. And now once the sun gets down, it's good. But most of those Southern games kick off at 7 p.m.
Yeah. And a lot of the when I posted on Twitter yesterday, kind of that they were doing this, whatever, it somehow got all the Georgia Southern media and Twitter got hold of it, and it started making its way. And they were all saying, "Oh, well, all you got to do is add the. They're not even close. They don't have the gnats or the mosquitoes or the all the other. They're But it does work, because you mentioned the Florida State game, and the third and fourth quarters, Florida State wore down, and Boise State made that huge comeback.
No doubt.
People are loving that LMAOC, ha, ha, ha. Nate says so many stories about O-line guys either peeing their pants or having a towel partition so they can relieve themselves on the sideline.
Yeah, that's true. Now, some people have, can you believe this? You can actually pee in a bag and it gels up and you can just throw it in the trash. I never knew that. I found that out. Somebody told me at Auburn, I got to pee. I go, where are you going to go? He goes, oh, we got to pee in some bag. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, it turns into gel. And I go, wish I invented that. I wouldn't be sitting here with you dicks.
That's wow. Well, that's wild. I hadn't heard about that. No, wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
a porta potty with us.
I do want to talk about I got another Garrett Curran clip, and I want to talk about him, and then also get just some of your basic thoughts on this current O-line group. But do need to thank a couple of our sponsors. So going to take a quick 2-minute timeout, and if you need to use the restroom, go for it. But you got 2 minutes. We'll be right back here on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers. That includes the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer in the country to support an NIL collective. A portion of the proceeds from each sale of the Horseshoe Golden Ale go directly to Boise State student athletes via the Horseshoe Collective. Western Collective's beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, are available at most major retailers in Idaho. Western Collective, the studio sponsor at Bronco Nation News. Our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. For over 23 years, Row Painting has built a name synonymous with excellence in the painting and coatings industry. We serve a diverse portfolio of clients, including residential homeowners and homeowners associations, commercial businesses, general contractors, and industrial site purchasers. All of their clients receive the peace of mind that comes with expert project management, safe, skilled, and experienced painters, and professional-grade equipment. They provide a stress-free experience while solving your painting needs. They've completed more than 11,500 projects, including the back patio and garage in the Rains house, and they can do your project next. Our title sponsor, again, check them out online, roepaint.com. Give them a call, 208-991-0567. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics and the title sponsor of Bronco Nation News, roepaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union has been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. Don't have time to run to the branch to deposit your check? No problem. With Idaho Central Credit Union's mobile deposit feature in the mobile banking app, you can deposit your check anytime, anywhere. See why over 500,000 members love Idaho Central Credit Union. Again, that's 1 in 4 Idahoans. Make the switch today at iccu.com. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Boise State Athletics as the official car and truck of the Broncos and through NIL deals with Jonah Dalmas, Andrew Simpson, Ahmed Hassanin, and Matt Lauder. 4 Boise State football players rocking vehicles from Lithia Ford, as well as Paige Barsh from the volleyball team and Brooke Patterson from the women's golf team. The fall kickoff sale is going on today at Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online. View their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. For your next car or truck purchase, think Lithia Ford. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. All right, back here on Bronco Nation News. live. We're here on a Wednesday edition with Brad Bedell. We're in the Western Collective studios. We appreciate Western Collective, our sponsor here at Bronco Nation News, our studio sponsor at Bronco Nation News. And again, head out to Western Collective and check out that new restaurant. We need to maybe get Brad a gift card, add it to his pay this first month, and get him and his wife out there to Due West, the new restaurant down there on Idaho Street, as part of the Western Collective group. And again, if you use the QR code right here, I also linked to it on Twitter on our website, but use the QR code when you schedule your reservation, and you get a free appetizer and a free dessert. So I highly recommend it. My wife and I went last Saturday, really enjoyed it. The tableside cocktails, it was just a great experience. So check out Due West, our new studio sponsor here at Bronco Nation News. All right, Garrett Curran, you have the unique, you still have Ben Dooley, who, you were a part of bringing him, and he is still on the team. Garrett Curran obviously just finished up his career, but he was on last night, as we talked about, with Riley and Rid. And if you missed it, again, it was a great episode. I highly recommend it for folks. I'll be honest, I never thought, Garrett was good, but he never said a ton, Brad, in terms of the media. He was kind of a quieter guy, and he was solid, but wouldn't give you when we get the list of who we're talking to, no disrespect to him, but sometimes the O-lineman, it's not like we're talking to Hank Bachmeier or Taylon Green or, Malachi Nelson. Everyone wants to talk to the running backs, the quarterbacks, like, oh, we got Garrett Curran today. All right, cool. We got this guy. And I think Garrett Larson had a bet or something about how few words he could say. And one time he had an entire interview in like 56 seconds, and the media never requested him again, which he was probably happy with. He was probably happy with that. But
sure, that wasn't planned.
Yeah. But I will say this, no, I'm serious. Like, when I found out Garrett Curran was going to be on last night, I was like, oh, that'll be good. But he was great. Great stories. Yeah. Got him talking a little bit, and he opened up, and he was great. And I wanted to play one quick clip and then ask you about there's a couple different things within this minute-long clip to point out. But Garrett Curran was asked, someone on the chat asked the hardest player that he had to block on Boise State's defense during his time. And this is where it begins.
First question. It was the hardest people I've had to block, right? So at that time I was playing tackle, Curtis Weaver. Okay. I ended up being on the man side of 6-man slide 3 times in a row.
That's awesome.
In a pace period.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's not, yeah. Yep.
And then I think we had a mid zone or something to my side, but let's just say I gave up 2 sacks, a tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit in the course of 4 plays.
How many push-ups did you have to do for that?
Oh, that one was at least 250.
Yeah.
Curtis was very tough to block on the edge.
Curtis
right?
was. Yeah. Who was a sleeper that I would say one of the hardest for me was probably Shane.
Shane Irwin
he's hard on the edge.
He's not even a sleeper. He was
like, I remember every time we had to do like a edge protection for a QB rollout, and he knew it. Somehow he knew every single time. I think it was if we looked at him the wrong way, he was like, I know you guys are coming down to block me.
Well, don't say somehow you knew. I know exactly how they knew.
Yeah.
I've always had this theory.
Script.
They definitely
that's
keep the script.
The downside of offense and defense.
That's a great point.
Network. It's so easy for you to look at our
just look straight through our scripts.
Don't even get that.
Watching the install tapes. Know exactly what's coming.
I think
you guys have a perfect blitz today.
Yeah.
We installed counter today, and you have the counter beating blitz installed today. That is convenient.
Yeah, they're elite. They definitely probably watch more film on us than anybody else. But Shane was always good because he could do speed to power, or he would just juke me and drop me and make me touch earth, which was always brutal. But there was a lot of good guys. I remember we were talking the other day, like when I switched from QB to tight end, my first practice, we did some sort of circuit, and it was Jabril Frazier and Sam Witt, and I had to block them back to back, and it was
another one up there with toughest to block.
Crazy, and it was literally like Rudy. I feel like
Sam gave me my first welcome to college. It was I don't know, early mid-season. I was a scout team offensive lineman, and I was playing right tackle. I just had a little little backside gap hinge. I'm like, oh, no big deal. I just got to step down, make sure that linebacker's not coming, and then I'll just stand there and make sure Sam doesn't run through me. Well, Sam ran through me and bench pressed me through the moon, into the backfield, through the running back, and I was upside down looking at the sky like, wow, that guy is definitely a lot stronger than I am. Holy
Very
hell.
strong.
There he is, Garrett. There he is, Garrett Curran.
Very strong.
Couple things there. First of all, did that really happen where the defense would get a peek at what the offense was putting in that day in fall camp?
There's no question. No question. There is no, because you share, right? You share playbooks. Come on. Yes, that happens all the time. That not only happens, that happens at every level. Every level. And NFL too. I mean, they always, because everybody wants to win, right? Everybody wants to win. And now, I will give the defense a little credit. Sometimes they're trying out a new blitz in a rundown, right? And if we're putting on man schemes, power, counter, things like that, they may want to say, does this work versus man schemes? We know it's a zone blitzer. We know it's a zone beater. We can get everything else. But he's right. It's a little funny that they seem to be correct. If we're rolling the quarterback to the field, right? Because usually, rollout passes typically are left hash, left middle because they're right-handed quarterbacks, right? So you've got to have answers for field pressure. Well, are you kidding me? Every time we put in any boot back to the field, 2-man off the edge, guaranteed. And you got to check out of it. So I think we ran that play one time all practice because we couldn't get the play off.
Now, what would be the benefit? I mean, is it more players or coaches on? What's the benefit from the coaching standpoint? Like, why wouldn't they want the players to see stuff they haven't seen before or that they don't know is coming?
Well, I think number one is defensively, you got to see if they can get in the right gaps versus gap schemes. Like, because sometimes if you're bringing 2 off the edge, that defensive end's got to do a 2-gap exchange. So he's got to get to the A because you're going to have one blitzer fit in the B. You got the other blitzer that's going to fit outside, and you got the Mike flowing over the top. And so in a man scheme, if one guy misses his gap, it's gone. I mean, you can't stop it because of coverage. You have to probably roll to 1 high because you're losing your nickel. So you're going to have to roll to 1 high. And so that's probably that. But that's also what scrimmages are for too, right? I mean, you don't share anything at scrimmages. And so that's why you tend to see offenses do, like, I don't know if they put out stats or anything else, but scrimmages, when it's the great equalizer, when you're calling it, you don't know what's being in, you kind of put in some new wrinkles, like formationally, maybe all camp, we ran the ball to this formation 80% of the time. We're going to run play action now. So they see the formation or the personnel and go, oh, we got him. Nope, boop, touchdown, right? Or vice versa, right? If we ran the ball 60, 70% of the time out of this formation in scrimmage, hey, we're going to run play actions, the natural component to that to get an explosive play. So it works.
And they don't call, and I don't like at least in scrimmage too, you have refs, because in practice, man, in practice, I can't tell you, man, it must be nice to be a DB in practice, because I can't tell you how many times I'm watching practice and it seems like they're grabbing and holding and pulling on these receivers, and they don't call anything in practice.
No, you got to kind of call your own foul, which holding is subjective in my mind. And just like, and now Garrett, to his extent, Curtis Weaver he's a special pass rusher. The other thing is when you're on the man side, you got the back chipping, right? You want to blow through a rib cage. Well, I mean, trust me, I love Garrett, but we can't exactly tell the back to blow up Curtis Weaver's rib cage in fall camp because you want to get
just like there's no linebackers meeting Nash and Genty at the line of scrimmage in fall camp.
I wouldn't, would you? No, but I mean,
I meant more on the defensive backs too, like the corners and stuff. Seems like there's pass interference almost every play.
No doubt. It was in the Green Bay Packers. We had a kid, first-round pick in Arkansas. Carroll was his last name. He was so bad, right? He couldn't even pass interference, and they have officials all the time. Mike Sherman came out and says, "I'm done with this." He made him practice 4 days straight with boxing gloves on, so he could not grab anything. And it got him. His feet got better. His hip exchange got better. His overall speed, makeup speed, and all that got better. But he wasn't grabbing. There was no more. I think he was only called for like 1 or 2 pass interferences all game. In the NFL or all year, the NFL, that's hard. I mean,
wow.
You got to think too. I mean, what do people want? They don't want 3-0 games. They want people to score.
They do.
And the other thing is, and I agree with Weaver special. The other guys, the Shane Irwins, and things like that.
Sam
Witt, he was one of the strongest guys in the team. I think he benched 500 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean,
if he didn't have
was
injuries and
so
stuff, he would have
strong.
he
Oh,
battled some injuries.
if he didn't have the injuries, I think strength-wise and things like that, and he had his legs, I think he's an NFL player. I do. I think that they would have, because he would be a dynamic special teams player for that size.
Oh, yeah. No, we got some great questions, comments coming in. We got a few more minutes left. I do got to get one more quick commercial break in, though, here to help pay Brad's lofty salary here. So we do have one more 2-minute break, Brad, and then we got 3 or 4 really good fan questions. We'll finish up the show with that here in just a minute. But don't go anywhere. If you got a question for Brad, get it in the ICCU YouTube chat. We'll take those in 2 minutes here on Bronco Nation News. The Treasure Valley freestanding Taco Bell stores are hiring. Check out TacoBellWorks.com to apply for a job. Great promotional opportunities, free food while you work, half your wages the next day after your shift. If you're looking for a new job, think Taco Bell. SON Management Group and the Nicolason family, and TacoBellWorks.com. Taco Bell serves up some of the best breakfast in the Valley. Try the breakfast sausage quesadilla, the breakfast California crunch wrap, the toasted breakfast sausage or bacon burrito, or the breakfast crunch wrap combo. Bronco Nation News thanks Taco Bell, the SON Management Group, and the Nicolason family for their support. Get more information on their impact on the community and apply for a job at TacoBellWorks.com. Check out the Blue and Orange Store for all your Boise State gear. The BlueandOrangeStore.com has great deals on the latest hats, jerseys, sweatshirts, jackets, bumper stickers, car flags, and more. Get the latest Ashton Genty Heisman shirts, the NIL gear, coaches' sideline apparel, and more. You have many options when it comes to buying your Boise State gear, but you won't find a better and bigger selection than the Blue and Orange Store. Thanks to Travis Hawks and company for their support. Return the favor and shop at the Blue and Orange Store and get ready for game day. Again, you can shop from anywhere online at theblueandorangestore.com or check them out the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall. The best way to start your day is at Jackson's. Step inside Jackson's food stores and discover convenience that goes beyond the pump. From fresh brewed coffee and delicious snacks to a wide selection of groceries and everyday essentials, we've got you covered. Jackson's supports Boise State through NIL deals for Ahmed Hassanin and Breezy Dubar. Don't forget, 25 cents from every hot dog purchase from a Treasure Valley Jackson store goes directly to the Horseshoe Collective. Snag that free banana when you buy a fountain drink, coffee, deli sandwich, or wrap. Find a location near you and sign up for Let's Go Rewards at Jacksons.com. Check out Snake River Pool and Spa, Idaho's #1 local dealer for over 45 years. Whether it's a hot spring spa like the Rains family has, or a pool table, sauna, patio furniture, and more, check out Snake River Pool and Spa. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game are proud partner of Bronco Athletics, supporting the Broncos pools and spas. Check out thespateam.com for pricing, brochures, financing options, specials, and more. Whether it's a hot spring spa, a pool table, or an air hockey table for the game room, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game has it all. The Rains family recently purchased our hot spring Limelight Flash Spa, and we couldn't be happier with the purchase. The installation process was easy, and the spa was up and running in no time. Check out their full inventory and turn your dream into a reality at thespateam.com. All right, back here on Bronco Nation News. We're in the Western Collective Studios. BJ Rains and our co-host Brad Bedell with us on a Wednesday. And Coach, we got some good questions in the chat here to wrap this thing up here. Let's see here. Did a lot of people wanted you to answer this one. Did Brad notice a difference in raw physical ability between the West Coast / BSU players and the guys you had at Auburn?
Yes. Now, I would say this. I would say that the biggest difference is size when you get to that conference, right? I mean, I think when we got to Auburn, we had 8 offensive linemen at 330 plus.
Wow.
Now, we had to cut their weights down a little bit, but they were all 6'5", 330. The tackles were 6'8". The tight ends were all 6'5" plus, ranging from 230 to 260. And then defensively is where you saw the corners at 6'1", 6'2". And then interior, they were big. I mean, 6'3", 320. Inside linebackers were 6'3". They're a bunch of Leighton Vander Esch's. So you get longer at the SEC, and you just get overall size. I mean, when some of those guys hit the field, you're like, oh boy. And I've seen a lot of big people in my life, but when that Georgia team came on the field, I'm like, when Davis hit the field versus Georgia, I forgot the first round pick to the Eagles, to the nose. He doesn't run on the field. He walks. And I'm like, I look at him and I go, oh, shit. And he has a WWE championship belt around his waist. I don't know how they got one big enough. I'll never forget. I looked at the center and I said, well, you're fucked. He goes, I got him. And I'm like, cool. We need to. We should have went to that game tied at half, but they ended up winning. But, the Georgias, the Alabamas, things like that, they're big and long, very long. That's the biggest difference.
How you mentioned Alabama. How would you still be at Auburn if you guys had beaten Alabama in that game?
Good question. I'd like to think so, but I think that's what started it. And
it's crazy. One game, one guy not going out of bounds. Like how crazy it is changes so much.
We talked about anxiety, right? We talked about anxiety of a game, and you're in crunch time, and you're in one of, if not the biggest rivalries in college football. We practice that all the time, and it's just anxiety got him, and now Tank's doing well at Jacksonville, and he's with Ezra and all that. But
sorry to bring up old wounds on a Wednesday morning.
Just go down. That's a game right there for 3 hours. You can't hear yourself think.
Wow.
It's wild. And
Speaking of what,
Georgia, remember, the other thing is Georgia-Auburn's the oldest rivalry in the South. It's not Alabama-Auburn, it's Georgia-Auburn. And that's where Auburn and Georgia, they have to play each other every year. So that's your automatic East game. So that doesn't rotate. So you have to play them.
What was that? Just that whole, you obviously had the experience in college and as a player and some of the other places you've been. And I know obviously the end result, it didn't go well, whatever, but just in general, being a part of the SEC and being a part of some of those games and being a part of you're just seeing firsthand football in the SEC and football in the South. What was that experience like?
It was awesome. The games, the pageantry. We go into Baton Rouge on a night game. And Auburn hasn't beaten LSU at night since 2009. And they never bring you in like the nice way, right? You got to go through all the tailgates. Texas A&M does the same thing. And all of a sudden, here comes the buses. It's getting closer and closer. And then you start seeing your police. You go everywhere with cops, right? All of a sudden, they start going faster and faster. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Here's the first beer bottle. Boom! And then all of a sudden, beer bottles are hitting the bus. You get off. Usually you got, I think we had probably about 6,000 Auburn fans that surrounded our bus, but they're screaming, Tiger bait, Tiger bait. And the other thing is, which I think I can kind of bring in Boise State to this one. Boise State, for the most part, does a good job filling up the stadium during pregame.
Mm-hmm.
They're packed in the SEC for pregame, and they're already yelling. It's going. So you're bringing in motorhomes. So they close all parking lots in Auburn on Thursday night at midnight, and then all the motorhomes come in. They spend the night Friday night, Saturday night. They all take off Sunday, and We're not talking one motorhome. We're talking about thousands. Now it's the motorhome capital of the world. Crying out loud, but. Just going in to see those places, and it didn't work, and it's a shame it didn't work, and I wish it would have, but it was something special. Now it's the South. There's some positives and negatives of the South, and I'll never take back that opportunity. I hold it very special in my heart just to be a part of that. And I'm a huge college football. I love college football. I grew up on college football. When I signed to Colorado, my dad said, you made it. When I got drafted in the NFL, he goes, oh, you're going to continue to play football. I didn't miss a Rose Bowl from the age of 5 to 20. My dad was in the Tournament of Roses for 37 years. My grandfather was the president of the Tournament of Roses, and his grand marshal was Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Wow.
And so my uncle hasn't missed a Rose Bowl game since 1952. Because our family reunion, every year, my dad got a hold of 17 tickets to the Rose Bowl. And so that's what we did. We went to the Rose Bowl. Yeah. Bo Schembechler. We got our game canceled my dad, he's passed, but now he doesn't get the tickets. So my grandfather was since he was Grand Marshal, he got lifetime free 6 tickets. Then my dad got 4 tickets. So then he got the rest from other people. Well, when we got our bowl game canceled, versus in the debacle Boston College game. Well, I went home to see my mom and dad after the game, and Washington was playing Ohio State. And my uncle took the tickets, and I called my brothers, and I go, "Hey, you want to go to the Rose Bowl?" And they're like, "Yeah." I go, "I'll pay for the tickets. They're going to be shitty tickets, but I'll pay for it." Because my wife's from Ohio State. I hate Ohio State, but I watched. That was the last game Urban Meyer did. I saw the last game Bo Schembechler. I've seen a lot of great players play in that Rose Bowl game. So I love college football and what it stood for and continues, I hope, to stand for.
Bill says that's awesome insight there. There is one or maybe 2 final questions here. I know I'm keeping you longer than I told you for the first episode, but we started 3 minutes late, and that was my fault to begin with. I do need to give a quick shout out to Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate. Check him out. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher, BauscherRealEstate.com. Again, we use Matt to buy and sell our homes. Super appreciative and thankful. Matt did a great job. So check him out, BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidleys.com. They got 13 locations across the state of Idaho, surrounding states, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada. Check them out, Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidleys.com. And again, you can save 40% off if you download that Skip app there online. Get more information, ShopRidleys.com. And if you're needing a new job opportunity, how about the trucking industry? Check out Transportation Compliance Service, TransComService.com. And again, all the permits, DOT, overweight, everything you need to get into the trucking industry. Highly, highly recommend it. And I'm putting you on the spot here, Brad Bedell, but a week from tonight, I'm flying down to Las Vegas. Circa Sports, they got the contest going on. $1,000 entry. You can split it with some buddies. You can do it yourself, but $10 million guaranteed to the winner of Survivor. There's $6 million in the Millions contest, which is you pick 5 games against a spread. And again, you got to sign up in Las Vegas, or you can have somebody sign you up in Las Vegas, and then you can play from anywhere in the world using a proxy, and our official proxy here is Tom Carroll, VegasFootballProxy.com. So if you're interested in going, I had somebody else reach out to me recently. We're going to be signing up 6-7 teams here. Circa's pumped that we're bringing them down. I took Brad, I said, if you give me your money, I'm going to first try to double it up at the roulette wheel before I go enter the contest for you. We're signing up with VegasFootballProxy.com, Tom Carroll. And again, people ask me, like, no, this is not some shady side thing. This is 90% of the people in these contests play from out of state. It is 100% legal to do this using Tom Carroll, our proxy. So check them out, Tom Carroll, Vegas Football Proxy. And again, you just make the picks with him each week, and they go into the casino and make the official pick for you. $16 million in guaranteed prizes is on the line, and that is with our friends out at Circa Resort and Casino. We'll be doing 2 shows down there next week as part of their contest weekend. We're looking forward to that. And there's intel that Brad Bedell might either be making an appearance or at least entering one of the contests. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, yes. I'm highly looking into it. Just trying to. My boy's playing football now, and I'm working it out. I'm trying my hardest to get there.
We're putting that's how I do it. I just put the live on the air in front of 400 and something people. I just put the pressure on you that we need you down there. But I think Coach Riddle's going to be down there. We're going to have a fun time. It's going to be a fun time down there. But let's see. Final question or 2. Let's see here. Johnny Ballgame, by the way, says 1991 Washington Huskies versus Michigan, my favorite Rose Bowl. Let's see.
Yeah, I believe that's the one the tailback took it 92 yards. Going the opposite way for Michigan. I think it was Biaka Patuka.
Bronco 130 says, what's the worst thing you gave or received in a pileup?
Oh, that's a great question. Here's one. I had a huge rivalry with the Kansas State D lineman. And we were playing at Kansas State. And this guy punched me in the nuts so hard I thought I was going to die. Like I thought one of my pebbles there was exploded. And he was laughing, and I was like, okay. So I couldn't get up. So they take me off, and Tom Cable, who's the O-line coach, goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I go, "That guy just punched me in the nuts." And he goes, "Well, suck it up." And I go, "Okay, great." So the next pile up, I was on top, and he was down, and I stomped on his hand so hard, I think I broke his finger. So there you go.
You got the revenge.
Yeah, it's a game of.
Johnny says that was the next year, Tyrone Wheatley.
You're probably right. Yeah. 92, the 92 game.
Benson says, live in Utah. There's a Ridley's right next to my house. It's so nice. There you go, Benson. Appreciate it. So support the sponsors. Ridley's Family Markets there. Final question. I think I had one more on here for you, Brad. Let's see here. Let's see. How often, especially early in camp, are plays called on offense just to see if they can make the play?
Like to a certain player?
I'm not sure what he's referring to. I guess, do you run plays in camp to see if it'll work during the season or not?
No, you run your install. And then that's the greatest thing about camp is you find out because the defense is going to play 3 down and 4 down and stem in and out of it. And so you kind of put your install in, and then as you go, it's like zone read. Zone read's really hard without a tight end backside, especially versus a 3 down front because you have to read the overhang, right? So, those are great things. Like, so then as you build your game plan over the course of the year, I always had a list of great plays versus 3 down, great plays versus 4 down. Okay, what's good into pressure, what's away from pressure in the run game. And so as you track that, you kind of build your list. And then you got to write down the formations that can be ran on, shift, motion. What's the final formation that makes these plays great? And so that's what camp's for, things like that. And then the other thing is double teams, where you could set them, who you can leave alone, who you can't leave alone. Especially up front, as you go and you're gonna see mismatches through the course of a year, and so who you need to help, who you don't need to help, and in some plays they design are one way because of that, and that was Gus Malzahn was a huge one way play guy. He likes running plays one way. That cuts down a lot of teaching too, but it handcuffs you. So that camp is. Sometimes you'll throw some things, some different route combinations, things like that. But the other thing is when you're getting to personnel, where are your route runners? Who's the best route runner for this concept, that concept? And then you get into your personnel game. Like, okay, we need to get him at this position. This is the best one. Okay, like Riley was an unbelievable, great vertical threat at tight end, right? So then now you can put him in the run game so you don't want to break tendencies, but use their strengths to help you be explosive on offense.
I think people kind of know your story a little bit, Brad, but as the final thing here, we did have 3 or 4 questions asking about kind of just your life update, I guess, in terms of being here in Boise. And someone's asked Kurt Fuller, what do you do for a living? Someone's Banana Unlocks is saying, are you retired from coaching? Would you still coach somewhere if the opportunity came up? I know like I said, now that you're going to be doing this on a regular weekly basis here, folks are going to get to know you a little better and stuff. And maybe some are watching this that haven't seen previous evening shows. What you're back in Boise, and what's going on with you?
Yeah, so we got shit canned. So when we got shit canned versus Auburn, I sold my house. We sold our house, I should say, as fast as humanly possible. And then we came back, and I was lucky enough to be under contract. So I kind of did some family stuff. That was important to me. As a coach, during season, you see your family one time a week. I mean, that's all you see them. And so as my son's getting older, he's 12. And so I helped out with flag football. I did those types of things. And so now I'm back in Boise. I know I'm not working right now. I'm kind of looking for some things that they're going to fit what I want to do. I'm driven towards sales, compete. I love being with people. I love interacting with people and connecting and things like that. And I'm very lucky enough to where I want to find something that a company or something that's great culturally and that fits what I'm going to be great at. I don't want to go stuck and be unhappy. I've never lived my life that way. I've always said I'm never going to regret something. So if it takes longer, it takes longer. But I'm happy we love it back here. My first day of school. So, my son's off and now he's starting to play tackle football in 7th grade. And so, I've kind of been around that program and helping them out wherever I can. I'm going to jam to some high school and watch them practice. And so now to answer the other question, would I coach again if the right opportunity? But the one thing I've changed is it's now not, hey, I got offered this job, pack the house, we're leaving. We'd have to sit down and is it fit where my family wants to be and things like that, and what the staff is. I'm too old to go work with a bunch of young kids, know-it-all coaches. I don't. And the other thing is, I want to see where college football is going. I do. I don't make any bones about it. College football made me the man who I am, and I thought that was through connection and care and love, and not how much money you make. Now, does that have to happen? Yes. Do I agree with it? Yes. But I want the right situation, and I want to be happy, and those are things that are important to me.
Well, we're excited. Whatever job you end up getting, you just got to tell them you're busy from 9 to 9:45 on Wednesdays. Moving forward,
Absolutely.
Here. There'll be litigation if you get out of your contract before the end of December here. So we got to.
No doubt.
You're stuck with us for a while.
Yeah.
Fresh Kid V
Happy
says,
TV.
thanks, Brad. That was fun out here working and laughed out loud several times. Looking forward to the unfiltered thoughts and insights. I think we went, and I do apologize. We went an hour, and I told you maximum 45 minutes, but also we went a full hour without even mentioning the current team. I don't think we talked about the current team or the current, O-line, and we had some questions about that. Somebody wanted to ask about the Oregon. So we promise next Wednesday we will get more into the current team, some position battles. That'll be, the Wednesday before game week. So we'll be, 10 days from kickoff next Wednesday. So we'll get into some of the position battles and the O-line and some of those guys and talk a little more about this current team next week. But they've been getting that every other morning at 9 a.m. It's fun to tell some stories and have some fun, but we will get back to a little more of that, but we'll still mix in the stories and things. Brad, really appreciate your time. Appreciate your wife signing off on this. She should keep the Venmo money, by the way. You don't need it. Let her use that for whatever she wants when you get paid for the show. But,
she can go get a Snickers bar.
Oh. It's a little better than that. Come on.
I'm just messing.
Come on, that and a tank of gas probably, and we'll call it good. Yeah. But no, we do appreciate it, Brad, and hopefully folks are enjoying this. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you can help us out with the $50 subscription to BNN, it does allow us to continue. It's funny. I hadn't heard from Winston Venable in a while, and all of a sudden he sees you back on. I get a text, "Can we chat?" So now Winston wants in, and everybody wants in here. So we got. And I think on Wednesdays we may bring him, Sanford, maybe bring some guys on these Wednesday morning shows to kind of have a little roundtable discussion too. I know Winston wants to get involved a little bit, but we got Riley and Rid in the evenings. We got Sanford and Johnny starting up next week as well, and then we'll have you on the home post game shows. So we got a lot of. It's been cool to have the former players and coaches coming back and providing the insight, and fans are really enjoying it. So thank you, Brad. Bill says great intro show. So, yeah, folks are really liking it. And we'll do it again next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Hope everybody has a great rest of your day. I'll be back with Mike Prater at 9 a.m. tomorrow. No practice today. First day of school. I want to believe Spencer, being the family guy he is, scheduled it so that the coaches could take their kids to school on the first day. But
there's not a doubt in my mind.
Just happened to have a random off day on the first day of school today in practice. Yeah. But, I'm sure they were full pads back-to-back days. I'm sure they scheduled it, but I'm sure it had something to do with it.
I've always been able to take my kid to school the first day. That was a Pete thing. Cars, Hawk, him. I've always, even though you push practice back, I think that's important. So
that's cool. All right. Well, we'll get back to the hardcore football discussion next week at 9 a.m. Again, go subscribe if you can. Hit us up on YouTube. We appreciate it. Thanks, Brad. Thanks everybody for checking us out. Have a great rest of your day. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com.